Crossway presents A Light on the Hill, the surprising story of how a local church in the nation's capital influenced evangelicalism. Written and read by Caleb Morell. Forward by Mark Dever. For the members of Capitol Hill Baptist Church, past, present, and future, may you continue to shine as lights in the world.
Forward. Not long ago, I asked the author, "Who will buy a book on the history of a church?" He replied, "I'm not sure. Maybe people who like biographies? I'm telling the story of a life, the life of a congregation." As I thought about it, that answer sounded better and better. And then I read the manuscript, and I found it surprisingly compelling. People I'd never heard of sprang to life. The author has researched thoroughly and written elegantly. He has selected stories to typify themes in one decade after another. Individual characters come alive. The one-armed Antietam vet, the widow foundress of the church, the scamming pastor, the female evangelist, the pastor whose mind was changed by Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail. I could go on and on. The reader will be glad to know that this is not a mere chronicle. That is, a verbal timeline along the lines of this happened in 1894, and then this in 1895. In March, this occurred, and then this other person died in July. Caleb Morell has masterfully given us an overview of a congregation's life, a moving, multi-generational picture. He has succeeded in telling one story, stretched over 150 years. My interest in this church, and churches generally, is not unique. Pastors who've labored here before me have done many of the same things that I've attempted. There really is nothing new under the sun. Everything from membership classes and purges to expositional preaching and prayer meetings. All these were being done before I became pastor or was even born. The compelling figures are numerous. Joseph Parker, the abolitionist pastor who argued with Lincoln in person. Agnes Schenkel, the faithful member who stood up to the pulpit search committee and perhaps thereby saved the congregation from liberal compromise. K. Owen White, the reforming expositor, who later gained fame for a question he asked Senator John F. Kennedy when he ran for president. So packed with characters is this story that not all of these tasty details could be included, but there are so many more stories and so many interesting characters. My own connection with this congregation not only increases my interest, but also gives me a particular strange sensation in the last couple of chapters. If the Lord...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?